morning everyone and welcome to our fifth and final episode of our online exhibition Memories Brought Home, a project that's been funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund, where we set out to find out whether local heritage really can make a difference in the lives of people who are lonely and isolated. We've been travelling around some of the most beautiful heritage sites in East and West Hampshire. And if you've been watching all the episodes, then you've journeyed with us. And if you haven't seen them all, then do go to our YouTube channel, Wessex Heritage Trust, where you'll find all the episodes there. Now this morning we are going to take you to Stanstead House, which is set in the grounds of Stanstead Park, Rowland Castle. And it was the beautiful setting for many of our courses and workshops. But the film we're going to show you now is the one of when we went there with our crochet group on tour. So sit back and enjoy. If you haven't been to Stanstead House yourself, then I encourage you to go. Dan Cook, the house manager there, gave us a brilliant guided tour and showed us some of the needlecraft that have been made there by the various occupants of the house over time, some of the homeowners and some of the staff. Now, one of the tools we used over the course was reminiscence. Who doesn't love a little bit of nostalgia? For example, here I've got an old Hotspur comic, and here I've got an old Judy comic. Both of them are dated the 18th of December 1965. Let's take a look. Doggone it! They're making camp in that cave. We'll have a job to winkle them out of there, armour or no armour. Dun dun dun! Now, one of my favourite comics when I was a child was Twinkle, and I used to love the series in there called Nurse Nancy. I used to line all my toys up and pretend they were in hospital and that I was their nurse. Did you have a favourite comic? Can you remember? Now, reminiscence is a great tool, and it can encourage even the quietest member to join in. It's also really useful for people who have dementia, as our Wessex Heritage Project, the Memory Box, knows only too well, and you can find their videos uploaded on our YouTube channel also. But here's Kate now to explain a little bit more about reminiscence.
The most important thing of all, the most important reason of all to do reminiscence sessions though, is to give the person taking part a sense of self-identity, increased self-esteem and confidence, especially when they may not live in the here and now. Let's take a quick look at an example of a session. Did you rely on your corner shop for your groceries? They sold a little bit of everything. Or did you shop in the high street with its many different shops? Or maybe you shopped in a market. It really is worthwhile collecting a few photographs and objects together and sitting with 2 or more generations of your family and reminiscing about the past. You never know what you might learn.
Thank you, Kate. I just love the idea of generations sitting down together and reminiscing, maybe sharing the meanings behind family traditions that perhaps you've never spoken about. So do be encouraged to do that, won't you? Now, our final film is a compilation of the Fort Group going on tour. You would have already been introduced to us when we went to Winchester Cathedral at Christmas, but we did go on several other visits, and we made sure that every visit we did was fully accessible and fully inclusive. So why don't you join us now on the Heritage Bus as we go in search of adventure? And here's Jen to introduce us to our first stop, which is Hill Head.
Well, here I am on the shore of the Solent. What an amazing place it is. We really are so lucky to live so close to the sea. I find the water a very emotive element. It's got so many faces. It can be so still and calm, but the next day it can be grey, disturbed, and sometimes very angry. But it will always come back to being still and calm, which is something I think we can all reflect on and try to associate with ourselves. Memories Brought Home spent a couple of sessions at the Wheelhouse at Hill Head. There was plenty of opportunity for long walks, beachcombing, collecting shells, and enjoying the view over to the Isle of Wight. We had a very interesting talk from Alf about his time as a coppersmith at Southampton Docks, followed by a splendid lunch of super sandwiches, sausage rolls, crisps and fruit. This was also the venue for our Heritage Health Walks. We all did long walks along the prom and then back again along the beach, collecting many bags of litter left on the shoreline, all inspired by our recycling guru Jan. Then back to the Wheelhouse again for lunch and a wonderful talk about the heritage of Lyon-Solent. We all became experts of Jenga. We learned magic tricks and much trivia. We even tried kite flying, although not very successfully. But generally, we had lots of laughs and lots of fun. And thankfully, lots of good weather.
was fantastic. I loved watching all of that back, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Now, one of the places we went to was Shedfield Study Centre, right next to St John the Baptist Church in Shedfield. And there we invited the Red Sauce Theatre Company, Rachel Goodall, to come and entertain us. Now, if you saw our promo video, you would have already seen Rachel. But here she is now, sharing memories of World War II letters. Thank you, Rachel.
Somebody sent me a card. Yes, they have. Happy birthday. What the hell's that? Dear Mrs. Bastard, I now take the pleasure in writing to thank you for your letter. I'm sure it was very kind of you in doing so, for it is a very anxious time for us all. Oh, it is. And of course, we like to know how they're all getting on. We do. It was my little girl's birthday last Thursday. She was 1 year old. Oh, bless her. It was a shame her dada could not be with us. So I thought I would send you a piece of her cake for your kindness, and shall be pleased to hear from you again soon. Well now, I thank you and I'll ring off for now. So I will close. Yours sincerely, R.A. Rayson.
Portsmouth, the air raid sirens sounded in anger 1,581 times.
Quick! Under the table! Quick!
Thank you, Rachel. That was fantastic. Now, the big question is, has the backdrop of heritage made a difference in the lives of those who are lonely and isolated? Well, here's some of our volunteers to share their thoughts.
I think the MBH project, its key is the variety. They do something different every week.
Yes.
Growing their confidence.
Yeah, there's one gentleman who started talking to me about the Blitz.
Having worked all my life, really, you suddenly feel that you don't particularly have a purpose. I live on my own, so I haven't got anyone else to worry about. But you lose that shape to your life, that sort of working week and weekends. Every day I have to wake up in the morning and think, okay, what's today? What am I doing today? What day of the week it is?
Wasn't always able to come to every sort of Wednesday, but now I'm thinking, right, I can do that Wednesday.
Now it's finishing.
And now it's finishing, and I'm thinking, oh dear, I've got to fill that gap.
I've volunteered for several sessions for Memories Brought Home, working with small groups of people interested in anything historical, really. And it's lovely. We all sit around sharing our memories.
Butts Ancient Farm family group in the summer, that was fantastic. Even though the weather wasn't wonderful, we still managed to have a great time. And
it was an unexpected bonus volunteering because of being able to feel like I'm at home again. I didn't think that it would be that. I thought it'd be more of sort of a job that I just had to do, but I've learned so much, and I've learned a lot about the people and the participants.
I love that Hannah experienced unexpectedly well-being herself by being at those beautiful heritage sites. But what about the participants? Has it really made a difference to them? Well, we've been measuring the impact by asking them to complete feedback forms and questionnaires. And we've been working in conjunction with the Wessex Academic Health and Science Network, who have helped us to evaluate the data.
Volunteers and the people are really, really nice. They're a lovely group. When I first came down here, I didn't know anybody at all. I've been trying to sort of make friends, but it's very, very hard. It's made my life better.
It gives me a day out, fresh air, and I'm meeting people that I'm gradually getting used to seeing.
Made all friends, lots of friends, and I liked it very much.
A real big thank you to the whole team.
It was marvellous, absolutely fabulous. Everyone was friendly, it was enjoyable, and it made you look forward to Wednesday mornings.
I do feel the photos and the smiles of the participants in them speak for themselves. But let's allow the participants to tell you through some quotes that they've written, read by some of our volunteers.
I enjoyed everything. Friendly people, laughter, and learning how to crochet. Best thing ever. I was nervous to begin with.
It was made so personal because we were all encouraged to make it our own. For example, volunteers and participants gave talks.
People who accepted me, and everyone always checked on me to make sure I was okay and enjoying myself. I didn't realise what was on my doorstep.
I made 8 or 9 new friends that I will maintain contact with.
I enjoyed going to the fort for starters. Amazing place. New visits outside of Gosport, which is the area I already knew.
It's away from all the commercialism. It's so human. You treasure everything that's beautiful.
I love going to Stanstead. It was an amazing experience and we got special attention.
Every trip was inclusive with care and kindness given to everyone.
It's been so rewarding visiting different places. A real privilege to be taken to those places.
The writing course at Chawton House helped me feel better and more confident about myself.
I can't read anymore because of my vision, so I look forward to Wednesdays and it gives me a chance to get out of my own 4 walls.
I enjoyed getting out and mixing with other people because I'm socially isolated at times. It's encouraged me to go back to volunteering at my local museum.
The provision of transport met my needs for mobility. I went to places that I wouldn't normally go to, and my family were delighted that I was able to get out and visit local heritage sites. It gave us something to talk about. I feel very proud of our local heritage.
I'm more confident being with other people.
I had never been to the fort before, so it was a real eye-opener.
I just wanted to say a big thank you for Memories Brought Home at Mottersfont. It was a lovely idea and I really enjoyed the experience. I liked meeting everyone and all the volunteers. It refreshed my memories of growing up here.
It was so enjoyable getting out of the house and meeting such lovely people.
I'm very lucky where I live in Romsey with 10 other people. But to get out of that community for a couple of hours, you come back refreshed and bring something to the people that couldn't come.
I'd also like to read you some of the quotes from the care partners we've been working with. Sally from the Mayfair Care Home says this: I wanted to express our thanks for the wonderful opportunity you have given our residents to be included in a series of fascinating and enjoyable trips. Our residents always come back with huge smiles on their faces and full of praise for the lovely time that they are having and looking forward to the following week. Without you and your team of volunteer helpers, this would not have been possible. So a huge thank you from all the residents and staff at Mayfair Care Home. Thank you, Sally. Fiona Kelly, a dementia carer, says this: I have been so impressed. Firstly, about the idea of enabling isolated people to engage more with their heritage and their community, but also with the staff and volunteers who support Memories Brought Home. You're all wonderful, and so are you, Fiona. And Lynn from Adult Health and Care, Hampshire County Council, says this: the group are a really good mix of people and abilities, and all your lovely volunteers are just so in tune with them too. It's a real success story. We have seen people changing on this course. It's wonderful to see. We've seen friendships forming, volunteers finding purpose, confidence building, and people's countenance changing. Has heritage helped to enable this? We believe that the beautiful settings that we have found ourselves in have had a huge impact on the well-being of all concerned, including us. To take ourselves out of our usual day-to-day routines, to embrace the amazing scenery, buildings and peaceful environments steeped in history, restores our souls. It has a healing effect. To embrace these shared experiences brings connection, promotes conversation and stimulates creativity. To try something new is a very positive thing. To revisit a place you've not been to in years can be powerful, stirring up old memories and building new ones. Sharing these memories with people who have not lived in that era is empowering, educational, and builds generational bonds. That heritage sites have inspired creativity within people. Pat and her amazing drawings. The writing course where we provided scribes for those struggling to write themselves due to poor sight or learning difficulties or early onset dementia. And those amazing poems from Brian and Savannah. Savannah and I sat in the physics garden one lunchtime, munching on a sandwich. And I asked Savannah, our youngest volunteer, how she felt. I expected her to say something like, "It's really peaceful here in the garden," or "I love the beautiful flowers." But she started to bring the garden to life, bringing the trees and giving them a character, animating the birds. After a few questions that I asked her, such as, "How does the long grasses make you feel?" Or, "What about that tree over there? And what about the wall surrounding the garden?" All of a sudden, the beginnings of her poem started. And then she wrote the poem that you heard in session 3, Perched in a Garden. Wow. And I also want to talk about the frottage that we made at Petersfield Physics Garden, inspired by our volunteer Brian. I feel if we take a closer look, it really does sum up this project. The dark area, speaking of loneliness and isolation. Transforming to the colour when being in the setting of the heritage sites. The bird taking flight with its wing just off the canvas, speaking of freedom. And the word in the midst of the darkness, brave, speaking of the courage it has taken to take part in this project. Now, we never set off intentionally to create that frottage looking like that, but that's what happened when we all came together. Now, I am aware that since the world has gone into lockdown, people who struggle with loneliness and isolation may feel this even more acutely. But when things start to get better, and they will get better, then do please get in contact with one of your local community associations who can point you in the direction of all sorts of different courses and workshops that may suit your interests. If you don't know which community group to contact, then get in touch with your local doctor's surgery, and they have a person there who can signpost you. If you are from a community group or a support agency watching, then please do consider using local heritage in your future programmes. The heritage sites would be only too pleased for you to be in contact with them. Now, if you're a person watching who's got time on their hands, please do consider volunteering. Maybe with your local community association or with a heritage site. Or whatever your passion may be, there's a group out there waiting for you to pick up the phone and contact them. I can assure you, you will really enjoy it. One of the final outcomes of this project was to create a book, and we're in the process of doing that now. It should be ready within about a month. Now, if you'd like a copy, please register your interest on our website www.wessexheritagetrust.org or email Heather at wessexheritagetrust.org, and then we will send you a copy as soon as they are ready. Sadly, this only applies to UK addresses. Well, we're nearly at the end of this episode and therefore at the end of our online exhibition. I'd like to thank everyone who's contributed. It really is incredible that we've managed to put this together in just over 3 weeks. What a team. And finally, we're going to leave you with Jenny Walker singing Lean on Me. So from me, Caroline, do take care, stay safe. Bye-bye.
not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if there are things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. You might just have a problem that I'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry